Hey everybody, welcome to Two Gems and a Mic. I'm your host, Linda Dorsey, along with my girl Tanisha the Diva Mahomes. What's up, Nisha?
Hey, you know it's me. I'm here. I'm here,
Okay.
baby. I'm here for it. We have an amazing guest. We're about to shock you guys. I'm so excited today. Go ahead and bring him in, Linda.
All right, we are welcoming Coach Tyler Marsh, assistant coach of the Las Vegas Aces, the championship Las Vegas Aces, to the show. Welcome to the show, Coach.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
And we
Absolutely.
are grateful that you took time out. I know you're a busy man, you got a lot going on, so we appreciate you taking the time. First thing we want to do is congratulate you on the championship. The second thing, and I think more importantly, we want to congratulate you on that new addition to the family.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you. It's been a blessed month, that's for sure. So a ton of blessings coming this way for not just for myself and our family, but for the whole Aces organization. So I'm excited to bring another Ace into the family for sure.
All
Won't
right.
he do it? Won't he do it? He will, won't he?
He
I
the
know
will.
number
he will.
the number one ace. The number that must have been like a crazy week for you.
I
Like,
know.
Yeah, it was amazing. We I think we won on the 18th of September. We flew right back. We landed about 3 in the morning. Um, Went home for 3 or 4 hours. Got my wife. Went to the hospital around 8 the next morning. She was in labor for 17 hours,
ooh,
and our son was born on the 20th. So um, I couldn't have scripted it or wrote it any better myself. It was just it was an amazing few days for sure.
yeah,
Well, Tyler, I'm gonna
congratulations
throw
again.
this out there. I'm a Virgo. And you got you one, okay? Yes, Lord. We good people. I'm telling
Yeah.
you, you got you a good one. You
So
got
I
you a good one
appreciate
over
that.
there.
I'm
Job
gonna hold you
well
to that one.
done.
I'm gonna hold you to
Job
that.
well done.
Thank you very
Absolutely.
much. Thank you.
So, I mean, just looking at the team, but looking at you specifically, you got such an impressive resume and background. I mean, I don't even know how you get a break to talk to us today, so I appreciate that. But your resume speaks volumes. The Raptors, the G League, the Pacers, and now currently with the Aces. Take us through that journey a little bit.
Yeah, I started my career in the G League. It was the D League at the time.
Hmm.
And my first opportunity was as a player development coach with the Houston Rockets Development League team, which is in Rio Grande Valley, McAllen,
Yep.
Texas. And they're called the Vipers. And at the time, the head coach was Nick Nurse, who's now the head coach with the Toronto Raptors.
Yep.
And it was really just started on a visit to the Houston Rockets workout one summer. And I asked around about internships that I had applied for previously and hadn't heard back from. And while I was over there, they said that they had filled that spot that I had applied for, but that they may have something with their G League team available. So I met Coach Nurse, who was the head coach of the G League team at
Right.
the time, and
Hmm.
uh, he asked me what my interests were and why I was interested in that internship that I had applied for. And he said, "Well, come back the next few days for workouts, and we'll throw you in there and see how you do."
Hmm.
And on the spot the next day, he offered me the player development role with him, and it was just like one thing from another. From there, it was just we had chemistry. We won a championship that year in the G League as well,
Right.
Yes.
and from that point on, I just been kind of riding the wave, so to speak. My dad is a college coach, so coaching has always been in my blood, but it wasn't
Right.
Oh, yeah.
necessarily something that I thought I was going to get into.
And
Um,
you
Hmm.
said at one point, didn't you say your dad didn't want you to coach?
he right. I was actually baseball was my first love. I'm a huge baseball fan,
Okay.
and
Hey.
and he was really pushing me down the baseball route. Just wanted to kind of me to carve my own, my own route, my own future for myself, and not to feel any pressure of having to follow him, do anything that he did.
Right.
Hmm.
But I couldn't escape it. My love for the game and my passion for people is what drives me to coach, and is what kept me in coaching thus far. So I'm enjoying the ride.
Okay.
Well, I'm
Cool.
gonna tell you, I feel like sometimes fathers do that. I know my brother definitely wanted my nephew to go down the baseball route, and I
Yeah,
think he went down the opposite route. So sometimes I think it's better to carve
yeah,
your own path.
yeah.
Definitely.
I've been trying to speak baseball blessings on my son since he was born as well. So we'll see how that goes.
All
Oh
right,
yeah.
I got sort of a two-part question for you. So,
Mhm.
transitioning from coaching males, training males into women,
Mhm.
what was the big difference? I mean, We know they're all athletes, they're basketball players, they're ballers. But did you find a big challenge or not?
I think the biggest personal challenge was just learning the league. You know all of the high profile players, and because they're all elite at what they do. But I think just knowing the NBA from a personnel standpoint, inside and out, for the last several years, you go from feeling like you have a really good grasp on that to now learning a whole new league and new player tendencies. And especially in my role in the player development
Yep.
role, it's huge that you know those individual tendencies. So not really having a full off season, going from one season right into the next, kind of limited the amount of time to get acclimated to the league. Is kind of sped that process up. So that was probably the toughest part. But from a basketball standpoint, it really wasn't much different. The women that we have on this team and throughout the league, they are the best of the best, and it's I think sometimes it's a disservice to compare the two,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they're more alike than they are different. And so it's been a great transition. It helps also that that Becky was also transitioning from the NBA
Yes.
to back to the
Right.
WNBA. So it was kind of some similarities there that we were both able to go through at the same time. And we have another assistant on our staff, Natalie Nakase, who was also in the NBA. So we were all facing the same learning curve at the same time. And so it helped bring us together, and the organization helped help make that transition for us a lot smoother as well.
And you got
It
some
kind
great
of
people. Go ahead, Tanisha.
No, it kind of sounds like a perfect storm. Like everybody was kind of on the same page in the trajectory that you guys were going, and you got there, and it was just like almost like a Jiffy Lube, kind of a well-oiled machine. It just worked out. And I know that the naysayers may say that you guys all came from the NBA down to the WNBA, but I mean, you've seen talent at both levels, and I think it it would be nice to hear your perspective on those top tier athletes. No matter what you're doing, you know what I mean. Those top tier athletes are top tier athletes, and
Hmm.
playing with the best, whether it's the NBA or playing with the best, where it's WNBA, kind of the routines are the same, right? You have to have that same mindset, that killer instinct, and all of that as well. And
Yeah.
I know it's been a lot about the fact that there's a salary difference. I'm just kind of curious how you feel about the different the wage gap. Kind of what you think. If it should be tightened, if it's equivalent, or what you actually think about that.
Yeah, I think it's widely understood that they should that our league should get a lot more than what they do, and have earned that right.
Absolutely.
It the circumstances sometimes that you have to deal with as a player, as a top level athlete. Um, you just hope that at some point it doesn't affect the product. You want everything to be smooth, so that you want the travel to be as smooth
Right.
as possible. You want
Absolutely.
the dining to be, you want
Absolutely.
everything to be
Mhm.
top notch, because they are top notch athletes, and you have to protect that. And so I think that the league will be moving, or is moving, in a positive direction, and especially with the attention and the notoriety that is getting worldwide. I think that helps. But again, from a athletic standpoint, it's really not too much different watching a Chelsea Gray and watching a Chris Paul. Like they
Right.
operate the same.
Right.
They think the
Gotcha.
game the same. They play hard. They direct their teammates. They're extension of coaches on the floor. And then you have players like Asia Wilson, and I kind of compare her to Giannis. They're both in the prime, but have accomplished so much that they probably
Right.
already have a Hall of Fame career.
Exactly. Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's just
Hmm.
they are great and fun to work with, and they allow themselves to be coached. And for a coach that's transitioning from one league to the next, like, that's all you can ask for.
Absolutely.
So let's back up a little bit. I want to go to your conversation. So I understand that Jenny Boucher introduced you, or you and Becky met. How did y'all meet?
Yeah, uh, Becky and Jenny has had a long existing relationship back to their days in the WNBA, and
Okay.
they're extremely close. And I was fortunate enough to develop a really good relationship with Jenny during my time with the Pacers. And it's just one of those things that, like, when like-minded people connect,
Hmm.
it's something that flows pretty naturally. And it didn't take too long from being introduced to Coach Hammond to going into working for her that like we couldn't, and I say this all the time, we connected on a level that extends way beyond basketball and something that's going to last way longer than basketball. Championships or not, like this, it's a long-standing relationship that when you value the things off the court, it makes everything that you go through on the court that much
Yeah.
easier. Uh,
Absolutely.
and so that's what I appreciate about being a part of this staff,
Hmm.
and what I really appreciate about because that's a mindset that was that's really embraced here with the Aces, and not always so evident. Not to throw any shade on the NBA, but it's not always so evident in the NBA. You have so much so much bigger staff and so many
Yeah.
much more moving parts
Absolutely.
that kind of stuff can get lost in the mix sometimes.
Hmm.
But it's really focused on and valued here, and it makes for a great working environment for sure.
Yeah, I
Absolutely.
noticed something, and you can see the connections because I noticed when like Asia she spoke about Mark Davis a couple of times. Like he
Hmm.
wanted to understand the game. He said he wanted to learn
Hmm.
about it and was open to that. It wasn't like I'm the owner type thing. And then you got somebody like Nikki Fargas. I mean, her resume speaks for itself also. So
Hmm.
those relationships, I mean, I just looked at that. I was like, wow. I was really excited when I saw that he was the owner of the team and what he was doing. It's like he's at the game to cheer. It's
Yes.
like he's not at the game. You've got, and I'll call one. He's not a Jerry Jones. He doesn't even want the mic. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? It's like they put the mic in his face after he's like said what he had to say, and he was like off. Let's
Yes.
let's just celebrate. So I see that. So that's pretty cool. And then to have the staff that you guys have is very impressive, and
Hmm.
to do what you did with that team. How much pressure did you feel this year, if
Hmm.
any?
Uh, I I don't think we really felt that much. I think that maybe internally, Becky may have felt some, just from her transition in itself. It's just a whole different animal that she was going up against. But I think that we were able to adopt the mindset that if we do things the right way, if we take it day by day, and um, w- championship aspirations were there, but it wasn't really something that we talked about much.
Okay.
It was we wanted to create habits that were championship driven, and have that lead to whatever results would come of that. And you can live with that, win or lose at the end of the day, if you do things in a championship way. And so that's kind of how we operated, and we wanted to take one game at a time. And it didn't really matter how we were playing. If we could uh, we could win a game and not play the way that we wanted to play, and
Wonderful.
it wasn't a great feeling in the locker room afterwards. And that's kind of what you hope to see, because then everybody's on the same page, and what we're after is aligned.
That's
You
great.
know,
That's
you
great.
know what, Tyler, that sounds like to me is like
That's
it's
coach to
like
you.
it's just like when you have when you've won a championship before, you know what that feels like. You know what's needed to win that championship. It's
Hmm.
not. It's all about what you do on a day to day basis to get back to put yourself back into that position to be there. It's not even something that you gotta. We already know what the goal is. The goal is there. You don't want to talk about the goal. We need to go out there and do what's necessary to get to the end result. And it sounds like to me that you guys, both of you guys had already had championships before. Y'all were on the same page. It was just a matter. We need to get these people, get our guys in sync, have them realize that repetition will make it work out, and then it just sounds like that winning atmosphere is embedded in you guys already because you guys already won.
Yes, 100%. I think actually the pressure may start mounting now, trying to follow it up with another one. Uh,
Yeah, you gonna feel a little
Yeah.
something now.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Oh, they're gunning for you.
I was
Yeah.
trying. I was trying to ease it. I was trying to ease it on, but yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
you about to be
Oh,
feeling it
everybody's gonna
now.
be. I mean, they were gunning for y'all this year,
I
so
mean, right out the
Yeah.
gate
but
too. So
you're. I
yeah.
mean, the resiliency of that team, and just to see what they did winning, and then I was sitting up one night because I'm up all the time, flipping through the channels, and I'm looking, and I see Asia, I think it was Chelsea and Kelsey, everybody playing. I looked, what's her name from AT from, and I'm like, is this old? Because I was like, there's no way. I was just watching the parade. I said, there's no way they're in Australia. And it's like
Mhm.
Australia 2022. So I mean, that
Yeah.
just the conditioning and everything that
Mm-hmm.
you guys have done with this team is just amazing. Because I mean, you out winning the championship, partying a little bit, having
Mhm.
a parade and all that. Then you on a plane, and then you playing at a high level. So it's a
Yes.
Absolutely.
testament to yeah.
Yeah, and that kind of goes back to the previous question about how there needs to be a concentrated effort on protecting their health, um,
Yes.
because
Absolutely.
they don't get an off season. 80% of our team is currently overseas already playing in their new seasons, and they
Mm-hmm.
won't get done until it's time to start training camp for us going into next year. So
Oh,
it's a
really?
constant grind. They are some of the toughest athletes I've ever been around, and to do it in a way where they don't complain,
Right.
um, it's it's a really unbelievable experience and an eye-opening and humbling experience for someone who's new to the league. Um, so I appreciate them to the fullest.
Yeah, you got to
You know,
mandate
it's
some naps, like you did for Jackson. You got to mandate some naps.
hearing you talk about the WNBA players going right off into another overseas playing, it reminds me so much of like the minor league baseball players. Once they finish that, they go right off to the Dominican, and they go
Hmm.
over they don't really get a break because they're
Right.
grinding in that earlier part of their career. So
Hmm.
to see those athletes still doing that and they're at the next level, they're at
Yeah,
the
they're
pinnacle,
already
where
at that
those young
level.
guys,
Hmm.
yeah, that just shows that they're no joke. This is serious. I mean, those
Yeah,
those are some amazing athletes that we're looking at, and we're blessed to witness.
no
You
doubt,
know,
Yeah.
no
So we
doubt.
know you got a couple of things, but we got a couple of more questions we want to ask you.
Sure,
One
no,
I'm
you're
going to ask
fine.
you.
You're fine.
Okay, so who we know Becky drew it up, but who had called the slant? I call it the slant because that wasn't but a slant that she ran Jackie Young.
Well, Jackie Jackie looks like a wide receiver anyway, so slant's
Right.
right?
kind of
What?
appropriate. She,
What?
yeah, her is
Yes.
she is she's built. I wish I was built like Jackie. We'll say that. So that's a compliment in itself. So,
Right. Right.
um, but no, that was all Becky. She is
Oh,
if you watched her in ATO, she's as good as it gets out of timeouts, and she has a really good knack for understanding what defenses are going to do in certain circumstances, and what she really does is set those end of game situations up throughout the entirety of the game. So we may be
Mm.
running something for 3 quarters, and now she hits them with a counter in the fourth quarter, and it's she's really good at exploiting those points and times in the game, and but that was all her.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was
that's
fun. Well, I
Jackie.
mean, I've been
okay.
watching. Yeah, big fan. I've been watching Becky since she was with the Liberty.
Hmm.
So
What?
yeah, a big fan. So even just watching her play, then you knew she had that. I call it the Spidey sense. She was like, okay, she played the game differently because she's
Mm-hmm.
smaller, right? So we know compensating for certain things, but she was able to do it. The
Oh,
size went out the window as soon as she hit the court. Just
Yeah,
because of
absolutely.
that, the smarts. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's, when anytime you're a point guard, you have to think the game, and anyways, and so I think that um, that certainly has um, helped mold her into the coach that she is from the player that she was, and you can kind of see those resemblances in like a Chelsea. There'll be timeouts where throughout the season where Chelsea will come right over and coach will be like, you want the clipboard? She'll like, yeah, give it to me. She'll take the clipboard. Chelsea will take the clipboard. She'll sit in
Cool.
coach's seat, and she's the only one talking in the timeout. So, uh, um, it makes the game a lot easier when you have players who are extensions of the coaching staff, and can create disadvantages for the defense during the course of the game and during the flow of the game, and players who have that trust have built that trust amongst their teammates, because not everybody has that cachet to be able to
Right.
do that. And everyone trusts Becky and everyone trusts Chelsea out there. And, it's a great team environment.
I'm sure they trust you too. I
Oh,
coached high
absolutely.
school for years, for like 12 years in AAU. So I'm always looking at the bench just to see what coaches are doing. And y'all are pretty calm. Like I've seen other coaches, assistant coaches, like on the floor running,
Lose it.
and
Mhm.
y'all are just like, okay, like that trust. So you can see the trust in there, and I know the players feel that. So yeah, that's it's a good thing to watch. I mean, I always see what coaches are doing, what their reactions are, even in every sport, just seeing what the coaches are thinking. But yeah, that's pretty funny about the slant. But so the WNBA is expected to expand. I know Elena Beard is working very hard there in Oakland, and they're looking at expansion. Do you think there's enough parity for the expansion now or in 2024?
I do. I think that that it's only growing. It's only getting bigger. You watch it. We've always had throughout this year, every single home game, we've had a ton of outside of it just being Las Vegas. We've had a ton of uh, high profile stars from every every genre, from actors to musicians to
Hmm.
NBA players, NFL players that want to see us play. And I think we one of the things that helps that is that I think our organization and our staff does a great job of allowing our players to be themselves and to have and to express their personalities. And I think that's what you need from the WNBA. They um, they're amazing people who have amazing stories and great big personalities that should be marketed in a way that not just helps their brand, but that helps the brand of the league. And so because of that, any way that you can expand that, I think can be done. And when you think about the possibilities of locations, whether it's in Oakland or whether it's a Philly or whether it's a
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Toronto, these are basketball cities.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And so I think it'd be great for the league.
Yeah, I remember when the league first started, there was so many teams and you couldn't get them, and they were trying to fill. I'm here in DC now, from New
Hmm.
York, but I used to go like Madison Square Garden. I mean, that's like a mecca. You couldn't fill that,
Right.
so you could at first, and then it just died down, and then it
Hmm.
was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, let's. And I think the past couple of years it's been building back up.
Hmm.
You hear
Absolutely.
the naysayers, but those are the ones that sit on the couch and can't play. So,
Right.
yeah,
All
those
the
are always
time.
the ones talking. So excited to hear that.
Yeah.
What do you see for yourself 3 years? Still,
Yeah.
yeah.
I hope to be a head coach at some point. I try not to put a box around what my future holds or what my career entails. Just kind of enjoy where I'm at and not get too anxious to move on. And just I think it kind of devalues the experience sometimes when you do that, and it
Hmm.
takes away from all that you can learn in the spot where you are. So I try to stay planted in that, and I've been blessed to. Be around some great players and great coaches, and I'm around an amazing coach right now that I'm constantly learning from, and so that's where my focus is at, and just trying to do my part to bring whatever I can to the table to try to make this a back-to-back experience for us. Um, and the goal is always to get better. So whether that's as a team or whether that's as a coach, that's what the goal is.
Okay.
Mm.
Tanisha?
Yeah, I mean, no, I mean, there's no ifs and buts about it. Your future is about as bright as it gets for
I
what you're
appreciate
Yep.
doing.
that.
So,
Thank you.
I'm so excited for whatever you're gonna do in the future, and we're here for it. Believe me, we
Thank
are
you very
we
much.
are fans, and man, I mean, I'm just impressed with everything that you guys have accomplished, you and Becky, and I mean, it's been a joy to watch.
Thank
Yep.
you
Really
so
has.
much.
And you and your wife. So we want to wish you before we go, you got any closing thoughts? Anything that you want to say?
Yeah, let's know something going on. Talk to us.
No, it's just it's been a just trying to figure out what the off season entails. I just got back from a workout with one of our players and
Okay.
have another one later tonight. So the grind never stops, as they say.
Nice.
Right.
But
Oh yeah.
especially with a newborn, that grind is
Right.
unlike
That
any
What?
grind
other.
is real, ain't
Yeah,
it?
for
You ain't
sure.
got him in the basket on the side of the court, do you?
Yeah,
You
right, exactly.
Right.
Exactly. But I'm just I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying being a champion. I'm enjoying being a dad.
Mhm.
I'm enjoying being a husband, and
Oh man, that's
life
wonderful.
is good right now. So God is good. He continues to bless, and I got a good support system around, and especially with the Aces, but also with my family back home. So that's all I can ask for.
That's
Mm,
fantastic.
that
Fantastic.
is so
Again, we
amazing.
appreciate you. Don't be a stranger to the show.
I
I'm
won't.
gonna
I
reach
won't.
No.
out to you because we got some stuff that we want to send to you. So I'm gonna reach out to you to get an address and everything. But again, we appreciate you coming on the show and we wish you the very best on the court, off the court, wherever you
Thank you
go.
so much. If y'all ever in Vegas, let me know. You can come to a game.
Oh, we coming.
Oh, absolutely. That's
We
that's
we
gonna happen.
we're coming to Vegas and we will definitely let you know.
All right.
Absolutely. We're
I'm
gonna
looking
make it.
forward to it.
We're gonna make it a trip next year.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right. Thank
All
you.
right. You take care.
All right. Thanks.
Thank you again.
Bye.
I'm going.